we're living in a different time and space where the love for discipline, good knowledge, good governance, practical realities is all different in this time. Yeah? The smallest child see on the street will accost you as a big person and man, and you expect a child to talk to you. So the mannerism has changed significantly. So today we pay farewell to our beloved brother Junior Lloyd. Seaton. I've been hearing about this brother for the last year. And when daughter linked me up to say her beloved daughter died, but they wanted to have a ceremony that befits his honor, befits what he stood for. I always applaud families like this. And at this time I also give the family a nice round of applause for choosing a ceremony like this in honor of a beloved Rastafari, father, brother, son, whatever family member, friend that he is to us all. It's very respectful. I was at the funeral at Duncan once, and a pastor was there for the bereaved family.
was something for me to say because my father always talked about peace and love. And I'll leave that with you guys today. Thank you, everyone.
She said her father always talk about peace and love. Give her a nice right? Yeah, it is, since dad always talk about peace and love, let's chant a chant. One perfect love is to open that door. Yes, I love to welcome Rastafari on their way. For that man sins are all forgiven, and home is in Messiah. It's a perfect love is to open Jah door. One perfect love. One perfect love is to open that door. Yes, I love to welcome Rastafari on their way. Because the black man sins are all forgiven. I am tried in the Messiah. It is a perfect love is to open Jah door. Yes, as Sister Colleen said, her dad was always talking about peace and love. Those words were coined by Rastafari in the early days, in the early inception of the faith of Rastafari, the liberty of Rastafari that evolved in Jamaica from the early 1930s upward. The Rastaman was always advocating peace, love, and unity. But the government didn't want to understand or overstand what we were saying. They were looking at Rasta because they had this locks, and this locks was not what contemporary Jamaica was all about. The only place you found locks was in the Bible with Solomon and Samson and Ezekiel and Aaron, whose beard went down to the skirt of his garment. All these prophets, they had locks. The Nazarene had locks. Christ had locks. God ordained the children of Israel, those who separate themselves unto him in Numbers 6, to have locks. But nobody understood what the Rastaman was saying. The British government here in Jamaica at the time, they were looking at Kenya, because in Kenya you had a group of Africans they called the Mau Mau. And because these Africans wore dreadlocks and formed a resistance against the colonialist British rule in Kenya, when they saw the emergence of locks in Jamaica, can you imagine? The government came together and say, we must get rid of these deluded creatures and South Sea cannibals. This is a branch, this is an offshoot of the Mau Mau from Kenya. So Rastas was just marked for death. So even though the movement was saying peace and love, they gave the movement the worst kind of hatred and discrimination that any group of people face here on the island. And later on that took a rippling effect across the Caribbean and the world. But as Colleen said, her father was always advocating peace and love. I was just returning from Miami recently, mid-December, and at the airport there was this big sign, pretty beautiful with flowers, written the words peace and love. And I said, wow, we should have copyrighted that back then. because they would have to pay us for coining that phrase, peace and love. Even our own government, PJ Patterson here, years ago, had, when children were fighting in school, they institute an entity in school they call PALS, Peace and Love in Schools. But the Rasta man been saying that all along, but no one listened to him. So I'm glad Sister Colleen brought that up as one of the notion that her father always advocate peace and love. So we are at open tributes. Anyone here who want to say something, a friend, a community person, a family member, you are not on the program, but you must say something, you are here. I saw my brother walk over to me and say, you know, he's my family. He's right here. You have to come say something about your family, man. Come on, give him a nice round of applause. You have to come and say something. Say it once up.
Not really, no. Good afternoon. My name is Maurice Anderson, the funeral director. I am not really a Rasta, but during the preparation, I get to know pre-sighting. And when Tasha called and said, Mr. Anderson, I want to do a funeral service for my dad, but I don't want him to bury by no ballad. I said, all right. I'm going on my phone. My uncle a Rasta, so I call him. And I said, Uncle Joe, what about Rasta? Me have a Rasta friend who dead. I want to do a Rasta funeral. Which church you go? Which Rasta church? He said, why you know, say me not go on a Rasta church. So I said, oh, you say a Rasta? He said, boy, me just grew up as a Rasta. So I do my research and link with Priest Ivy. And thanks for being here. And Tasha wanted to give her father the tribute of burying him by a Rastafarian, and I give you the honor for that. My words.
Nice. So, where's he? Give my brother here a nice round of applause. Long time no see him. I see him come find him with family.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Donovan Campbell, and I'm trying to maybe place who I am in respect to Junior. But Junior is my second cousin, my mom's first cousin, and my mom is Hazel Hoyes. Seaton family big, and we expand over time. See? And I didn't quite sure what to expect today. I know that Junior didn't really like church and thing. So I wasn't sure what to expect. So to come here and to say Ras Ivy, which is a brethren of mine from Scott Pass, Ibingi, I realized that you guys did a very good job in representing and giving him the kind of send-off that he would want. I don't have a lot to say. I mean, I grew up with Junior as a big cousin in the yard on Folk Road. Grew up with Junior in Canada, New York when he come. And for the last couple of years before the pandemic, he decided to say, I go to Canada. So he was with us for a while. I'm trying to be cheerful. Whatever life we live, when we pass on, we celebrate it from there. So I give thanks. I know that the love here will carry him the rest of the way. However hard it was for him, the last time I see him, a bicycle I ride, and carried it broke down. And he named it that stop it. Jump on his bicycle and go him go. So I just hope and pray that the love here today that we're showing for him will take him the rest of the way home. Zin, Ja, Rastafari.
Give thanks, brother. Nice. I always say it's just a joy to live peaceful with all. My brethren here is a long time I don't see him. And to see him walking and saw me and came up and said, the deceased is my cousin, you know. I said, wow. Because I've been to funerals, and being at the funeral, a young miss walked up to me and said, say your name for me, please. And I said, well, they call me Donovan. And she said, no, say another name. And I said, a Rastaman, they call me Ras Ivi. She said, no, say some other name. And I said, well, when I was growing up, my nickname was Dennis. And she went back and she said, yes. And she went back to a lady and said, he said Dennis. And I saw a lady just run and jump and hug me. That was my brother's baby mother. My two nieces who came to the funeral was burying a young man that was close to them. And they came from America, and she was just watching me and wondering, I know this person, I haven't seen him in years, he looks like my brother-in-law. So sometimes at funerals you see people you never know. And you know what happened at funerals? The bride find out that she's family to her husband. Gotta end up at the same funeral. Oh, my uncle, but we never know, say you did that. And they find out at funeral. So we always say to ones, tell your children who you have children with. Don't hide it. Because it's at funerals they meet up and find that they are from one family. So that is one thing about that, it brings family together. Now care how long them take to meet, death brings one together. But it's a very sad thing. So we're still open to tributes. I just want to hear if anyone else want to say anything. Anyone else? You want to say something? Oh yes, Mama. Come up. Give Mama a nice round of applause as she comes to say something. And Mr. Anderson, tell me cut off time because we know we have to have a time to go to the cemetery, right?
Good evening. Because I am Hope Spencer. I don't live far from Junior. I know Junior for many years. Many years we are grew up for a young child coming up. And it is a sad thing to say I wasn't here. Because the last time I met Junior, I did stop and taking up 2 mangoes. And he said, no, Hope, don't take up those mangoes. It's not good. I will give you a mango. I say, okay, I'm going out to Jacob Port and come back. And would you know that he give me a bag of mangoes. He gave me a bag of mangoes. And I respect him for that reason. And you know why? I know Junior for many years. We grow up from small age coming up. And from I know Junior is a guy that me respect. And today my heart goes for Junior because I wasn't here. I work out. So when I hear that them find Junior in his house die, it puzzled me a lot. Because before I leave here, I tell him good evening, and he said, good evening, Hope. Him ride me down. And he said, you walk like Mass Cliffy. Why you walk so fast? Me say, because I'm going out. And he say, you know, I don't feel good. I don't feel good, Hope. And he say, going across over to Bobby shop to buy something to go back down. And today, my heart goes very much for him. This is my few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. So these are words from a community member who knew Junior well and shared his love and kindness. Anyone else? I think we are through right now. No one else wanting to say anything concerning Junior. So we're going to go right into the eulogy. Eulogy always encapsulates what the person is all about from early days up until the final moment. It's a hard task to be done by a daughter, but we're going to call forward Esther Seaton to come forward and to do the eulogy. So give her a nice round of applause. Yes, a nice round of applause. Nice.
Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to start first by thanking you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your attendance here today. As we gather to honor and celebrate the life of my father, Junior Lloyd Seaton. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Psalms 133, verse 1. My name is Aisha Seaton, Junior's second daughter. The passing of my father has been the single most difficult thing that I have had to deal with in my life thus far. I still struggle even up to today to accept the fact that Daddy is really gone. Most of you know my father as Junior, or by his ever so fitting nickname of Rebel. Junior was born on March 10, 1949, to his parents Altamont Seaton, affectionately known as Altie, and Millicent Baker, both of Clarendon. Junior was the only child of his parents, as sadly his father passed when he was only 9 months old, and subsequently he was raised by his grandmother, Viviana Miller, also known as Miss Vivi. Junior was a quiet and well-disciplined child. He was always good with his hands and had a natural talent for fixing things. He migrated to Canada with his Uncle Val in 1970. When he first arrived in Canada, he worked at GMC on the assembly line building cars. Later on, he started driving for a trucking company until he eventually started his own trucking business named Lodestar Express. Junior was passionate about music and had his own sound named Rebel Tone. He used to play all over Toronto, Ontario, and often played in Montreal. In 1971, he met Beverly Campbell, and they became good friends. Their relationship became serious in 1974, which produced 5 children, 3 girls and 2 boys, the eldest being Natasha, then myself, Aisha, Julian, Keisha, and Moja. Daddy always insisted on giving his children their first names. Later on, he met Carla Daly, and that relationship produced his last child, Colleen. As he got older, he would travel back and forth, spending time between Canada and his beloved homeland of Jamaica. Daddy loved Jamaica, and he loved his culture, and he loved his black race. He fiercely loved Africa and often spoke about how he longed to see unity among his fellow black men. He was a student of Marcus Garvey and loved the Black Power ideology. We all know that Junior had a short fuse, and most of us have been on the receiving end of it from time to time. However, what most people don't know is that he also has a soft and sensitive side. Daddy loved to feed people and was an excellent cook. Every time I came to visit, he insisted on putting on a pot to feed me and his grandchildren. He loved children, and he was very affectionate and playful with them. Despite his rough exterior, he was always kind-hearted towards people who were in need and often went out of his way to help them in any way that he could. He was a great conversationalist and an excellent listener who never shied away from a good debate. Daddy was always appreciative of the small things, and he never was afraid to express his gratitude openly. The humble side of him was not materialistic and never boastful. He believed in the simplicity of life and lived as a naturalist. He was a strict vegan that did not consume any salt or sugar. Extremely disciplined with his diet. Throughout his life, he maintained a healthy, active lifestyle and was often seen riding his bike in the neighborhood in his matured age. Daddy, we are going to miss you. You truly were one of a kind. You always spoke your mind, and you never filtered your words or your opinions. Daddy was truly fearless, and he walked in his truth. Sometimes his truth came across a little too strongly, but it was his passion and his confidence in what he believed in that I will always remember. He never wavered in his beliefs, and he was never afraid to be himself. I will always remember Daddy for his fierce loyalty to his loved ones, and especially to his children. He would take on the world to defend his children, and that instilled such a strong sense of pride and importance in us. He was a proud, strong black man who always taught us to be proud of our race and our culture, and above all else, be proud of ourselves. One of my favorite quotes is by Marcus Garvey, which says, if you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won before you have even started. Thank you, Daddy, for instilling confidence in us. Thank you for always being a constant presence in our lives. Thank you for your love and never-ending loyalty to us. We will love you forever, and you will forever be in our hearts. Thank you.
That was wonderful. I think she deserves another nice round of applause. Wonderful. Those words said encapsulate the hallmark of a real Rastafari. Yes. Listen keenly to those words and what she said about Dad. He was truly a man of great discipline and love for the liberty of Rastafari. I'm sorry I didn't meet him. Why did he have to go so early? He was just down in Four Parts. I was just in Maypen. And I didn't get to see him. But my brother, farewell. Okay, so we're moving on. And we're going to have remembrance from Natasha Seaton Peart, a daughter. So give Natasha a nice round of applause as she comes to remember Daddy. Nice to see when the Empress walks up, the King walks beside her to ensure that she's okay. Nice. Daddy taught you that too, right? Give them both a nice round of applause.
Sorry, I need my fan. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. You guys all look lovely. I want to thank you all for coming out and gathering with us in remembrance of the life of my dearly departed father, Junior Lloyd Seaton. I'm Natasha Seaton. I am his eldest child out of the 6 children. My father was a character, and at times he may have been misunderstood. Let's just say some of us have felt the wrath of Junior, some more than others. But if you know, then you know. And if you knew the rougher side of him, you would also know the gentle side of his personality. He was a quiet man, a man of few words, but on the other hand, he would talk nonstop, telling stories that would never seem to have an ending. Most of the time, I would just allow him to talk because these talking sessions were few and far between, and he was an extremely slow eater, so these ramblings would sometimes go on while he's eating for hours. Later, I would tell him, like, eat your food, it's cold. He was a true free spirit, someone unafraid to march to the beat of his own drum. And especially in a world often constrained by conformity, he embraced individuality, never hesitant to speak his mind. He may have rubbed some people the wrong way, but in doing so, he always stood in his truth and courage, and that was very admirable. My father stood for something significant. I always admired how deeply rooted and disciplined he was in his Rastafarian culture. He exemplified the principles of Rastafarian discipline and commitment, leaving a permanent mark on those who had the privilege of knowing him. He was not merely a casual observer of the Rasta lifestyle. His essence was intricately woven into the fabric of his essence of the Rasta faith. Do that again. Rastafari with its rich tapestry and beliefs and principles, became a guiding force in his life, shaping his character in profound ways. He made us so proud, his children, to be children of the rest. So behind his exterior of strength and conviction, there existed a softer side to my father. His sensitivity was not only a testament to the complexity of his character, but also a reminder that even the strongest trees have gentle leaves. It was through his beautiful connection with his daughters and granddaughters that his softer side truly blossomed. As a child, I fondly remember him taking us everywhere to show us off, and the sense of pride just beaming on his face. I'm sure everyone has heard of his big daughters, Taisha. As his oldest children, we provided unwavering support, ensuring that every one of his needs was met. We also ensured that he kept up to date with the happenings of all his children. While his daughters managed to break down his barriers and soften his demeanor, it paled in comparison to the effect his granddaughters had on him. When they were very young, wild, full of boundless energy, they could do no wrong in his eyes. Any badness or mischievous that they were up to, he would just laugh and say, "Lauer." At every visit, he would immediately feed them as if they were starving at home, and they never got fed. He loved his granddaughters, and they loved him too. As we mentioned, we all know the wrath of Junior, but his granddaughters never witnessed this side of him. They only experienced his patient, loving, kind nature. It was beautiful to watch him interact with the children, who affectionately nicknamed him Grandpa Bob Marley, which he actually responded to with love to their endearing calls. Their presence brought out a depth of love and tenderness that added immeasurable riches to his life and their lives. He will forever in their hearts be their Grandpa Bob Marley. In my heart, he will forever hold the title of my teacher. He taught me valuable skills and guided me through the complexities of fixing anything and everything, from changing a flat tire to changing oil, passing him tools. As a child, I was his assistant when he needed to grease his truck. I really think he wished I, his firstborn, was a boy. But of course, these tasks I still know how to do, but I refuse to do them now because I'm not breaking my nails. Nevertheless, I am so immensely grateful for the lessons that my father taught me, because they made me who I am today and allowed us to create that meaningful father-daughter bond. Also, deep within my heart, he will eternally hold the title of protector. He was the first man to defend me, guard, and speak up for me, or in Daddy's case, cuss someone off for me. One thing I can say with confidence: no one messed with his kids. He will truly be missed, but his spirit will live on within his children. In closing, I just want to leave you guys all with some thoughts to kind of enhance your lives, recognizing that unpredictability of life, as we know, was we never know when our time will come. Therefore, I encourage each of all of you to inhale joy, exhale sorrow's weight, inhale peace, exhale confusion, inhale happiness, bid farewell to sadness, inhale self-confidence, exhale uncertainty's madness, inhale new beginnings, release old tribulations, inhale forgiveness, exhale bitterness, Inhale unity, dispel lonesomeness. Inhale prosperity and let it unfold. Inhale the goodness of life, this world's divine, gifted by the Most High, a treasure so fine. Exhale impurities with every breath, for time is fleeting, embracing life and death. Never knowing when our moment may come, each day a blessing, a beat of life's drum. Inhale gratitude for the time we borrow, exhale all worries. Let us inhale memories of Junior's existence that dwells within us, for in this sacred moment we find solace and grace. So as we gather today to bid our farewells and finally lay him to rest, let us cherish the memory of a free spirit who fearlessly embraced authenticity, stood in principle, and found profound beauty in the delicate moments shared with his loved ones. May his legacy inspire us to live authentically and true to ourselves as he did with unwavering conviction. Rest in peace, Daddy.
Yes, thanks much, Natasha. I think all she said really came from heart, mind, and soul. That was lovely. Give her again another nice round of applause. Come forward. So the third daughter, Keisha, is here to do her presentation. Give Keisha a nice round of applause, please.
When I first heard my father's nickname, Rebel, I thought it was such a fitting name, and no truer words had ever been spoken. Okay. When I first heard my father's nickname, Rebel, I thought it was such a fitting name, and no truer words have ever been spoken. He was authentic. He never conformed. He wasn't afraid to go against the grain and never shied away to let someone know where they stood with him. You were always true to yourself and your values. You taught me strength, how to persevere, and how to fight. On my first day of school, you told me, if anyone calls you a nigger, call them a honky. I didn't know what a honky was, but I just knew it wasn't anything too good. You told me if anyone ever hits me, hit them back twice as hard. Growing up, you always called me Brer Rabbit, and I thought it was because of my overbite. But years ago, I learned the story of Brer Rabbit and the moral lessons, which is to succeed by using your intelligence, not always your strength. In other words, if you can't fight, you better be smart. I would always drive around with you in your truck, and I told you I was no good with directions, and you told me, always remember, south is by the water. After I got the news of your passing, I went over to the waterfront. I hoped that if you're not with me now, that I could feel your spirit by the water. There was a strong wind that day, so strong it pushed me forward. I couldn't help but to think, are you angry or are you at peace? As I sat by the lake, I saw a bird right on the shoreline. Then when I looked down again, and there were 3 birds right in front of me. And I thought, this is a sign telling me, don't worry. Then I looked up again. There was an entire flock coming towards me in my direction. And I knew that there was peace and the comfort of nature. I also must mention while I'm up here, what a great cook you were, how funny you were, and just how much I'm gonna miss hearing your voice. Hearing the times you were excited, your laugh, or just catching up, and I could ask you about your talk radio station and how Spaceman was doing. I'm sorry
that as you were talking about coming up, I was talking about coming down, and our paths never crossed. I'm aggrieved that the last time I saw you was the last time. But I just try to carry on, persevere, and show strength. I hope that my lasting lesson is to continue with peace and cherish life. I'll end with a simple Bob Marley quote that I came across recently, and it is, "Love the life you live and live the life you love." Thank you.
Give her a nice round of applause. And if you turn your program, you will see a song by Bob Marley. It's one of Bob's favorite. We just heard the daughter mention those three little birds. So we all gonna sing this one that says, "Don't worry." We have a singer in the house? Come on, after three, we all know it. After three, 1, 2, 3. Don't worry about a thing, for every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep. They were singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds sit by my doorstep. They were singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. So Julia is saying to the family, don't worry about a thing, for every little thing is gonna be alright. Junior say, no worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. So, final words from Junior to family is just saying, you all were raised, and I'm listening to everybody. You had a great dad, and a great dad had to be a lion sometime and a lamb sometime. So you have to have the harsh side to make you know something serious about this, you know. And you have to have that humble side that shows love and affection. So that's the hallmark of a good father. Because a good father can't just pet the picnic them all the while, you know. He have to tell them when them go wrong. You know, and as I stand here on this platform, I say to every children out there, obey your parents. Because in the African movie, they have a saying that what the elder sees sitting down, you cannot see it even when you climb the roof. So you must obey your parents. And I say to all the youngsters here, you know, and the mother, father to be, that when you have your children, ensure that your children obey your words, your guidance, because you know you have experience, and experience teacheth wisdom. So we are coming down closely, and we just completed Bob. So the priest now, Rasivai. I just like to say to everyone, let's take care of this physical body. It's a gift from God to man, this physical body. We have to take care of it. I was saying to an audience in Trinidad recently when a beloved brethren of mine died and they wanted my presence. I was telling everyone, don't you try to live alone. Loneliness is not good enough. Loneliness is not good. That's why the Almighty, when he created Adam, he said, boy, Adam, you look lonely in our garden, you know. I have to go give you Eve, you know. Not Steve. I'm going to give you Eve. A helpmate, a companion to live together with and to procreate. So in other words, Adam, you're going to do what I did for you. I gave you life. You know I'm going to put you in the mechanism to create man through a union. Yeah? So the Almighty never want man to live alone. And I've seen where a couple of ones I know died on account of just being alone. This brother was in his bathroom. His wife had left him. His wife-to-be had left. And you know what day she left? On Valentine's Day. And he lived thereafter alone. But he was bathing in his bathroom. And you know, bathroom, a one dangerous place. You know, make sure you have that sticky mat there, you know, that you don't slide in your bathroom tub. It's dangerous. So this brother man had a slip, knocked his head on the faucet, and he was alone. His wife-to-be had gone. So he was living alone. And it's when people wonder, oh, Brother Morris not come out of him house yet. He always in car park, they say he always go to work. This is the brother man who was responsible for the water supply in Poor Us. Everybody knew him. He was a gentleman born, a Rasta man. But he slipped and dropped in his bathtub and knocked his head on the faucet, and he was there bleeding. He's when the neighbor said, no man, Brother Morris should have gone to work. Them not come out of his house. When them check, he was dead in his bathtub. My uncle lived in Trenchtown. He talked about girls the most. You would think that him have a trailer load of girls. But he went to his bathroom. There was a little outside bathroom, got his shower, was walking from the bathroom back to his house. Slipped, dropped, knocked his head, was on the ground. He wasn't living with any of those trailer load of girls. He was living alone. Now sometimes when man want girly, he don't have a woman in yard, you know. Because he want girly, he said him just go out and girly, or bring in and girly. He didn't have none of those girls by him. So he lay down there with his rag coming from bathroom on the ground until a neighbor said, nah man, I'm not hear him over yard, and him always a sing or make noise or something. When she pushed the gate and looked, the man was on the ground. By them rushing to the hospital, he was already brain dead, boom, later on gone. So lonely life is not a real good thing. I was saying to the elders in Trinidad that, well, we know your elders, you might have lost your husband, or you might have lost your wife. Get one of the grand picnic them come live with you. Don't live alone. Sometimes you just want somebody to knock your back to save your life, you know. Just to knock your back. You're choking for something, and somebody just to boof, and you save your life. Sometimes you just want a cup of tea. Sometimes just a drink of water. Nobody's in the house with you. My sister, my elder sister, my nephew was just saying to me, Uncle, she don't want to come live with we, you know. She want to live by herself. I have to say, no, Prudence, you can't live by yourself. You have high blood pressure. How many times you fall down in the basement, and if the lady upstairs never checks, so wait, we're hear from when she come, your elders, don't make her live alone. Loneliness is not one nice thing. So, in terms of safeguarding the health, let us try not to live alone. Let us try to eat healthy. Because the foods we're out there today, them so genetically modified, them so fertilized, them so chemicalized. You have to be eating while taking herbs as a cleanser, because nothing not good. With children going to school now, have nothing good in the lunch pan unless you put it in there. The fruits and everything else. Because everything them buy at school too salty or too sweet. I was in my GSAT classroom or PEP classroom and I saw a young Mr. Sir, can I go to my bag? I said, what for? Sir, I have to take my insulin shot. These are children under 12. Why? And some people are going to say, oh, it's hereditary. It's only hereditary because you're eating the same food your parents been eating. So you must get the same diabetes. We know if you take a change as to how we eat. And I was advising everybody at all the gatherings I go, make sure every home have what them call a blood pressure kit. Any nurse in the house? Any nurse here? No one in the medical fields here? Blood pressure good for check out. Check it probably even once a week, or your blood sugar. Because most illnesses start with blood sugar or high blood pressure. So we must make a concerted effort. Simple little machine. Sometimes you have an app you download on the phone, and we have so much smart children these days. Them smarter than we. Because them ask Google and Siri everything. So them know how to check the pressure and the sugar. Let's make a concerted effort as we enjoy life to eat right, sleep right. And you know, night sleep are the best sleep. That's what them call the night shift. The graveyard shift. When you don't sleep at night, it take away from your youth. It take away from the melatonin that the body produces only with 8 hours sleep. So, as we see our time coming close to putting our beloved brother to rest, I say to family, father, a great family member with discipline and love and brotherhood and unity. He was African-centered. African-centered means that we as a people were taken from the continent of Africa. We must be cognizant of that fact, that it was the church that brought us into captivity. And if it was the church under Bartolome Diaz de las Casas and these guys and the Pope in Rome and all the churches that were established out there was no plantation where there was not a church. And what the church taught was a European philosophy. Them paying God white, Joseph white, Mary white, Jesus white, everybody white except the devil. So Junior was one man who, having been a Garveyite, knew that this was wrong. He knew that this teaching came from a Eurocentric standpoint. He knew that it was the Pope in Rome who commissioned Michelangelo to draw pictures of Christ, the angels, Mary, and Michelangelo drew all of them white. Michelangelo did not consult the Bible, because if he never lived in a Christ time, how we might know Christ look? He might just draw them, sir? No, consult the Bible that carries a history of Christ. Born in Bethlehem, grew up in Nazareth, took refuge in Egypt. So oh, this white man could go to black Egypt, go hide. Michelangelo should have said no, but him couldn't white if he did go to Egypt, go hide. Egypt is predominantly black before the Greeks go around there, before the Europeans go there. The Egyptians were black. So he knew then that if Christ was this man born in Bethlehem, grew up in Nazareth, took refuge in Egypt, he must have been an African. It was the Pope in Rome who drew these pictures based on his advice to Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci in 1505. So the Rastaman knew then that there was some misdeed in the way we were taught. So he became a Garveyite, then a Rastafarian. And then he knew that God in the Bible said the first dietary law given to man, this is what convinced Junior, that vegan liberty is the right liberty. Because the first dietary law in Genesis 1 verse 29, when God made male and female, he said to them, of the earth, is we decide so we are do otherwise, Because if you buy your nice Mark X or your Crown or whatever vehicle you buy, and the manufacturer say, put only 90 gasoline inside. You think if you go put 87 in there and the engine mash up, you can go back to him and tell him that crap about, no, 87 is cheaper. Must have got from me. You mash up the car, I don't have nothing to do to you again. Same thing God has said. Him tell us how to eat, but we decide and do other things. So my take is, let us eat right, live right. You see, bad mind, grudgeful, envious, hate your brother, criminality and all them things. These are things we talk to you about in our communities all along, but you don't seem to listen. You know, and then there's two kind of music, one that preach consciousness and one that glorifies God, and there's one that glorifies dunceness. While we are saying, no, education is the key. Our brother man, he knew that through being a Garveyite and being a servant of Haile Selassie the person said, education of the youth is the surest guarantee for a better life. You all had a great father. Sadly, I did not get to meet him, and he was there for a while in Clarendon. I might have seen him in the market at some time. I'm looking at his picture, and so we must have met at some time. We've been keeping a Black History Month program in Maypen for 30 years, every February, so those who apply Maypen must know about that kind of educational classroom we have in the community. But it's a joy meeting you as family. I trust that you all will stay together. I'm sure Father's Day will never be the same again. His birthday will never be the same again. But you all will remember Father's Day, you all will link up to say, Dad, wish you were around. Yeah? And then on his birthday, you will always remember his birthday. And the day he passed, you will always remember that day. And the day today, you'll never forget today. So those 4 key days will always bring you all in one space again. We trust that the love and the teachings he imparted to you all, you can take it and pass it on to your children, that it move on from one generation to the next. It's a pleasure being here. We now come to the end of our ceremony, and we'll just chant a chant while we call forward for pallbearers to assist in the moving of the casket. Then we go to the final area. So another chant. So long Rastafari.
That's